Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO. Free, impartial advice on all your debt. This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iField TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted as always to be joined by the very chirpy, happy, chubby kid from Derby. You called yourself that. I didn't. You called yourself that.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that
really
tag.
Chubby though, are you, to be fair?
I've lost a bit of weight, but I have. There's been a few pounds been put on. I've not really seen the gym for it. I was exercising a few times last week, but on the week of the fight, all I've done is eat bad.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, it's been only a couple of days since. I'd go as far as saying, for you, the best night of your S-Jam reign.
Yeah, of course. Probably I told you, it's probably the best night of my life, to be honest, because there's been so much like put into it. Like you know, I've spoke to you like off records as well. Like this is everything. I put in absolutely everything, but it's not like it's not just been me that's done that. Adam Morley has been. Without him, it's not possible. Like we've had good people around us, and we're very fortunate. We're very fortunate. But we've done a great job with Joe. We really have. And when the fight with Dubois got presented to us, we thought, this Christmas has come earlier because we're confident. We were confident in our guy in winning, and Joe. Most important thing, Joe was very confident in winning the fight as well.
I think the great thing about Joe is this is how it seems. Obviously, you could tell me a different story, but it just seems like his attitude in life is just the same. You didn't see him we saw his customary, flip and all that, but it just seems like post-fight, Joe just kind of kept it grounded, kept it level, believed he was going to go in there and beat Daniel Dubois. He did, and it's just almost like it's happened, carries on with life.
Yeah, he's just gone on holiday as normal. He's not like, he doesn't let anything get to his head. Nothing really gets to Joe. Genuinely, nothing really gets to him. He's unbelievable, Joe, honestly. Like, he wasn't, KUGAN, I'd promise you this, he wasn't one bit nervous, not even the slightest bit. I honestly asked him, I said, Joe, do you feel like pressure? Like, I asked him honestly because I felt pressure. Now, it's not me getting smacked by Daniel Dubois. I'm like, he's like, no, not at all. He was cracking jokes in the hotel room before we all left. We was all in the hotel together, and he was just cool as a cute. I knew he'd win, KUGAN. I promise. I knew he'd win. Like, obviously, in heavyweight boxing, nothing's a foregone conclusion. Do you know what I mean? That's why I've not gone. Oh, like you don't throw losses in people's faces because boxing, there's highs and lows, isn't there? Anything can happen, especially in the heavyweight division. But KUGAN, I knew he was going to win just by looking. I thought, no one's beating you tonight.
It was, I think it was as it was dawning on us that Saturday night, and I think I put a tweet out. We spend so much time focusing on those kind of fights that we don't have. We forget sometimes about what's right in front of us, and that was one of them fights on Saturday. So it happened.
It was amazing. It's like credit to both guys, isn't it, KUGAN? Like Daniel didn't have to put his golden boy status on the line, did he? Like, he didn't have to take the fight, did he? And but he showed confidence. Like, there was a purse bid going to probably go ahead for the British title fight, and at this time we thought that wasn't really the right time for Joe, but we knew their paths were going to cross. But Daniel's team have always been wanting the fight. Like, fair enough. Like, fair play to both sides, and that's the only reason why the fight happened, because Frank did a good job in the middle of it all. Like, he's got it done. With all the teams did a really good job getting the fight done.
Do you know what? One thing I will say, I agreed with one of Frank Warren's comments, kind of post-fight to all this, where he said that this was the fight that the fans did ask for, and they genuinely did ask for. We got the fight, and then when people start saying, "Oh well, Daniel wasn't quite ready for that kind of that level," then which way do you want it? Do you want Daniel to be
Yeah.
fighting those opponents that he maybe has fought in the past, or when he does kind of come up to a Joe Joyce, which we all wanted. We can't have it both ways and say he weren't ready.
It's in boxing, KUGAN. No one's ever happy. Like, say if Dubois beat Joe, yeah, Joe's useless. He's too old. He's finished. He's like, you can't. People aren't really happy, are they? And let me just clarify something. Frank Warren, 100% wanted Daniel to win the fight because rightfully so. Rightfully so. I've got no problem with it because he's put lots of money into Daniel, loads of promotion. They've built him up great. They've made him. He got voted. What did he get voted? The Young Fighter of the Year or something. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Great job promotionally. But let me just clarify something. The build-up was always going to be me and Joe versus Frank and Dan. Me and Frank were like we were laughing all day, like behind the cameras and stuff. But Frank was even like, me and Frank were like going, yeah, we need to like spice the fight up because Joe and Daniel aren't the biggest of talkers. But in the gloves are off thing, I properly, like, even though Frank was telling me to do it, like we were he kind of got annoyed with me because I was telling him like what I actually think, and it kind of came true. But listen, Frank's Joe's promoter, and we want big fights. We've told Frank that we want the Usyk fight, and they're gonna get behind Joe, and Joe won fair and square.
I wanted to talk to you about kind of some of the negativity that swung Daniel Dubois' way. Obviously, we didn't know the extent of Daniel's eye injury, the fractured orbital, until late Sunday night. But regardless of that, there has been negativity from people within boxing about.
I have noticed like your channel's like took a bit of a pounding, saying, "Oh, it's kind of you're giving him stick." When there's been loads of interviews, especially from people in the industry that have stuck up for Daniel. Like I didn't really understand the negativity there, because your channel has given Daniel more praise than anybody else really in the boxing media, in my opinion.
Yeah, listen, it's kind of standard IFL procedure after a big fight, and it's your job. It's your job, yeah. Dillian White was knocked out by Povetkin, when Joshua was beaten by Ruiz. Even when Wilder's lost to Fury, it's like there's a peak period of people talking about it, and that's what we do. It's just, it seems like
it's a sensitive subject, isn't it? It's a sensitive subject, especially when there's always like a big upset or somebody that wasn't really something the script wasn't how it was meant to be. It's always sensitive from every side. But I didn't understand the comments about your channel, like saying it's not, because I looked at the comments and I thought Ben Davison, like they were all like kind of sympathetic towards Daniel, and like going into that, I put a tweet out saying I don't want to see, because this is what we do in this country. We build these players up like football players, and then so when something doesn't go their way, or it's like the whole world comes down on them, and you kind of want them to fail. Like, people should be trying to encourage Daniel to come back and fulfill all his potential. He's only a baby. He's 23 years old, and as I say, it's hard. I said on many interviews, it's very difficult for a fat person like me to say, "Oh, Daniel Dubois, he quit." Like, it's very difficult. Daniel Dubois probably saved his own career. It was probably the best decision he's ever made in his life doing that, because imagine if Anthony Ogogo would have potentially took the knee a few rounds earlier, he could still be boxing and still have a career. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, is he meant to fight on till he's blind? Is that what people want to see? I think it's a bit ridiculous. And like all yeah, he said a few unsavoury things about Joe's mum, but he's just a young man. Everyone forgives and forgets. Like, I've had no malice towards Daniel. It was just all it was just all banter to me. Obviously, I believe what I thought, but I wish Daniel. I think Martin Bowers is a great bloke. I sent Martin a nice text yesterday, a private text to Martin, just to wish them well, just to see how Daniel was doing. And look, it's boxing at the end of the day, isn't it? They're gladiators, aren't they? They're getting in there and they're putting everything on the line for our entertainment.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there. I think, as I was talking to Adam Smith about this, as boxing fans, we want to see great fights and we want to see knockouts. Come on, that's the name of the game. But at what point And what do we expect from a fighter to do? Do we expect Daniel to carry on the next 2 rounds, risk his whole career just so we you know, he doesn't
prove a point
with something like a label? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, that him deciding to do that may have just saved his career. We don't know. We'll never know. But I mean, it's all right for, like I said, for me and you to turn around and say them things. We can't say them things. I think fighters will always have an opinion about that, Sam, because they're in the ring, and that could be their mentality. It could be not. That's down to them. That's not really true of us. But the general public watching that, for turning around and go, oh, he did that, he did this. It's like, you know, you're not in there.
You've not had taking 2,000 jabs to the face by Joe Joyce. I mean, people can say whatever they like about Joe. Joe's done that to 3 people, KUGAN. Honestly, he did that to Ian Lewis. He fractured Lewison's orbital bone, Stiverne, and now Daniel. So it's not a fluke what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? So like, but Daniel fought on. I think Daniel got that injury in the 3rd round. So to say somebody's a 23-year-old a quitter who's been consistently have his face like effectively broken, you can't call him like a coward. Like, I've seen some of these comments saying he's a coward, he's got no guts and everything. Like, all I want to see, this is genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I would love to see him come back and prove people wrong and people get behind him again and understand that boxing's a sport, and it's especially in heavyweight boxing, anything can happen. One punch, and effectively it was. Joe caught him in the right spot, which what Joe was working on, the jab, keeping his head offline. And I want Daniel to come back and people get behind him, because I honestly still think he'll become champion, and he'll still be a force to be reckoned with when he comes back. I really wish him well, and Martin and the rest of the gym.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic team around him. Martin Bowers has done a great job with Daniel Dubois, and
great job. Yeah,
Martin Bowers will move him on from this and take him to where he needs to be. But he's got some great people around him, and he's 23 years old. In terms of heavyweight boxing,
baby,
absolute baby. Yeah, in terms of that, but he can listen. We know he can fight. We know he can punch, and we know that he will be a force in the heavyweight division. He already is one, but we know he'll get to where he wants to get to. We know that.
Yeah, he's still a name. He's stock. I know that because of the way the fight ended, I kind of wish he would have been maybe pulled out, because it kind of took the glory off Joe a little bit, because it's like it was all about Dubois again after the fight. Like, oh, how's he going to come back? Oh, I can't believe Dubois took a knee and everything. Like, just let Dubois dust himself off. Let him get back. Let him heal up. Let him get back in the ring. But let's give Joe the credit now. And I'm looking forward to speaking with Frank and getting, hopefully, fingers crossed, get Joe a world title fight against Alexander Usyk, which I think is a great fight for the fans.
So, as we understand, there has been a contract extension with Joe and Frank.
Yeah. So, from what my understanding before the fight, there was a small extension agreed, but Adam Morley deals with that. So you best asking Adam Morley on that subject. But listen, we've got no problem. Like Frank, as much as like we've had like funny backwards and forwards, I've got loads of. Frank's a legend, isn't he? Like, I've got loads of Frank, and he promotes Joe. Frank's gonna deliver now a world title fight for Joe Joyce, and we can't wait. Like, and Joe's rightfully so in the driver's seat now, because he's earned it. He's earned the stripes. I wish somebody, all these people that are trying to protect their records and stuff, there's been none of that from Joe. And look where he is. If you take calculated risks, you get to where you need to be. And that's what I would like to see more fighters take gambles, because if you want to get where you need to get to, you have to take calculated risks.
If it isn't, for whatever reason, Usyk, because that situation is a little bit messy, because obviously we'll find out a little bit more after Joshua's fight with Pulev next week, but we know the situation regarding the WBO isn't as straightforward as it could be, shall we say. So if it isn't Alexander Usyk, then is it important for you to keep this momentum with, you know, even stepping it beyond Dubois or someone similar to Dubois, that kind of level? Because the fighters he's been fighting anyway have been, we know what they've been since. I mean, he took Ian Lewison on his debut.
Yeah.
The Bryant Jennings, the Stiverns, the Lenroy Thomases are all in Joe's very short space pro career so far.
Joe's never listen. One thing I think everybody will agree to now. Joe's not scared to fight anybody. He's not scared to fight anybody. So we'll sit down with Frank next week, and we will see where we go from where we go, and hopefully, listen. Fingers crossed that the Tyson Fury. Because as a fan, I'm not just saying this. Well, I am saying this, but I'm not going to lie to you. I am saying this because I want Joe to fight for the world heavyweight title. But as a boxing fan, you want to see Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury because it's the biggest fight in the world, isn't it? I don't care what belts are on the line in that fight. I just want to see those two go at it and fight for heavyweight supremacy. And then the winner fights the winner out of Joe and Usyk.
Yeah, that'll do. I think we'll take that for 2021. But listen, for both those fighters, very interesting to see their next fights, to see what Joe does from building on from that Dubois win, and also what Daniel does now to come back from that loss, because all eyes will be on both of them going into their next fights, 100%.
Listen, Daniel can be involved in some. I think he's going to need a couple of fights to rebuild and get his confidence back. But then after that, Daniel can be in some great fights himself. There's the Gorman rematch, because I don't think Nathan was. Well, I've made it very clear. Nathan was telling me Nathan probably shouldn't have been in that night, the fight that night. I would like to see that rematch between Nathan Gorman and Daniel Dubois, like a fully focused Nathan Gorman against Daniel Dubois, Fabio Wardley against Daniel Dubois. There's some great fights there. I've got a couple of more heavyweights joining the party soon. Johnny Fisher's going to make his debut in January. Solomon Day, because he's going to come out and he's a cracking heavyweight. He is going to be a real lethal introduction to the heavyweight division. So there's some great things. Guido Vianello, he's gonna come back next year, and some great heavyweight fights to be made next year. Yeah. And I'm sure Daniel's going to be in amongst them. Yeah,
100%. Just finally, before I let you go, are you in the bubble with Laron this week?
No, I'm going to come to the fight. I'm gonna get to the fight on Saturday.
Friday. Friday.
Friday. Yeah, Friday. Gonna come Friday. Come to watch. Go to watch the fight on Friday. I'm losing my senses, but the Lyndon Arthur fight, yard fight, I'm really looking forward to that as well. Looking forward to that.
But yeah, that's going to be a great fight.
But listen, back to back great fights, isn't it, that Frank's put on, hasn't he? He's put some Dubois, Joyce, and then following it up with Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur. They're crackers, aren't they?
Yeah, no, looking forward to that. That's again another fight that kind of should have already happened by now. It is happening this week, so yeah, actually really looking forward to that fight Saturday night.
Some great fights on this. Listen, we've been very lucky this year. Like as I'm speaking as a fan, that MTK Global putting on the golden contract tomorrow. I mean, that's like they've put on MTK Global have been consistently putting on 50-50 shows since the pandemic. I mean, they're not cheap, these shows. You know what I mean? They're not cheap. Frank, Eddie, they've all been putting on fantastic shows for us all to be watched, because it's very difficult at the moment with no crowds, and hopefully next year we can all have a party watching boxing again with capacity crowds again.
Hopefully. Well, we're a step closer to that, aren't we? Because Joshua Pulev next week will potentially have some sort of crowd, so hopefully that just builds on into 2021. We all need it back. Hopefully
Florian Marco's going to be on that card, so I might see you in the bubble.
That should be an interesting week. Yes. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam, thank you very much for some of your time. I'll let you crack on with your day, and we'll keep in touch and keep us updated on whatever's going on regarding SJAM.
Nice one, KUGAN.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.